We interrupt Sights and Sounds to bring you a television program. We're back. Some issues with our TriCaster. It doesn't really concern you a great deal, except to say we're about a half hour late. It is Monday, 6th day of January, 2025. I am Dan Coons. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're on the air. We're going to stay on the air. We think we got her up and running now. 34 degrees. Sun's already starting to come out. We're going to see a repeat of today, of what we saw yesterday. We're going to do it again today. As far as sunshine, going to be a little bit warmer. That's for us. Columbia Basin, Upper Valley, not so much. You're going to see a few more clouds and sun, but we're in for a very pleasant Monday. Now everything's back to normal. Holidays are over. Kids are back to school today. All that stuff. Forecast details are on the way. We will have quite a bit of news to get to. We have a lot of sports to get to. Seahawks win 10 games. They went 10-7. They are the only team in the NFL this year that won 10 games but didn't make the playoffs. But they ended the season on a high note. They beat the Rams 30-25 down in Inglewood. We'll have reaction from Coach Mike McDonald, quarterback Geno Smith, and Tyler Lockett, who is in his 10th year with the Seahawks, and there may not be an 11th year with the Seahawks. He talked about that in the post-game press conference. All the high school and college scores. Good weekend for the Wenatchee Wild. Great day yesterday against the Tri-Cities. We'll have highlights of that as well. A lot of things to touch on. Speaking of sports, in the back half of the program, it is Eric Granstrom's 2024 year in review from the world of sports, both locally and from the Pacific Northwest. And a quick programming reminder regarding Apple Blossom. It got us again. Every year it sneaks up on me. Apple Blossom Top 10. They get some serious work done tomorrow at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, not open to the public. All of the candidates from the Wenatchee and Eastmont school districts will have one-on-one interviews with 5 out-of-town judges. You can't go to that. That's private. At 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, open to the public at the Numerica Pack, is the top 10 speeches. All the candidates give their 2 to 3 minute speeches. We will have that for you on our Facebook page, and then both at our Facebook page and on this television station tomorrow, Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We'll have it for you live, the top 10 announcement. I'll give you another reminder of that before it is all said and done. That is the Ephrata camera, by the way, behind us that you're looking at. 2 slides to show for you. It must be Monday. I got plenty of rest and I still can't get my head in gear. Pretty thick fog out in the Columbia Basin again. This is a persistent problem this time of the year. So they got some low clouds and fog out in the Moses Lake area, out in Ritzville. Ephrata doesn't look too bad right now, but watch out for some pretty dense fog, especially, say, between Ritzville and Spokane out in the Columbia Basin. It's hanging down there pretty low, and they're not going to have a great deal of sunshine today. As the farther east you go, the least amount of sun you're going to get. But we're going to have, actually, here in the Wenatchee Valley, bountiful sunshine, even more than we had yesterday. Here's a little slide to show you about the cloud cover expected today. Look at where you live. As you see out in the Columbia Basin, not a lot of sunshine. The higher the number, the higher the percentage, the more cloud cover. So for Wenatchee, about 45% of the day we'll have clouds. So better than 50-50. We'll have quite a bit of sunshine today, kind of like what we had yesterday, only even more sunshine and warmer temperatures. We can see Plain Lake, Wenatchee, pretty cloudy all day. Up to the north, in the Methow Valley and the Omak-Okanagan Valley, you're going to have bountiful sunshine pretty much all day long. So that is your sunshine for some areas today. Others really not so much. We hit 37 yesterday, by the way, and we're gaining about a minute and a half of daylight. For the first time in about 2 weeks, our sunrise this morning, 7:47. It's been at 7:48 for quite some time, so it's going to come up a little bit earlier, go down a little bit later. Again, about a minute and a half of daylight is gained each day for the next week or so. Then it gets even more dramatic. All right, from the National Weather Service, let's hammer this baby out. Sunshine for the most part today. Will top off at about 41 or 42, right around that, after a 37-degree yesterday. It's pretty mild. It's 35 right now in the Wenatchee Valley. Patchy fog tonight. Clouds roll in. 26 for the overnight low. We're under the influence of high pressure, and that high pressure is going to keep us pretty cloudy and pretty foggy on Tuesday, with highs in the mid-30s. Anyway, Tuesday night, 29 for the overnight low. The overnight lows are pretty mild because of the cloud cover. Acts like a blanket, as you know by now. Sun breaks expected again on Wednesday with a high of 39. Cloudy on Wednesday night. 28 for the overnight low. Thursday, patchy fog, lots of clouds, high of about 39 or so, give or take a couple. And then not a bad weekend. There is a slight chance of light rain Thursday night and into Friday, and that's really about the only thing weather-wise we have an eye on. I guess the weather, in a word, is boring. There's just not a lot going on there. No wind, no real rain, no snow at all, except maybe in the mountain passes. Not a lot to talk about this week. Highs will be back up into the 40s, though, by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with some sunshine, and I can live with that. All right, we're going to take a break, and we hope in a couple of minutes we'll have the news. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect, no matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
35 degrees. We're going to have some sunshine for the most part today. I hope you have the day off. You can get out and enjoy it. We'll be in the lower 40s. Going to be hovering right around that 35 to 40 degree mark most of this week. Clouds and sun doing a bit of a tug of war. Really, there's not a lot of weather to talk about, except the temperatures will be just a little bit above normal. 8 minutes after the hour, trial is set to begin this morning for the Upper Valley man accused of committing murder in the course of a drug deal. 35-year-old Travis Earl Collins has been in jail since last February in the killing of Julio Cesar Garcia Ramirez, who was found shot to death next to his idling truck in the 1700 block of Rock Island Road south of East Wenatchee. Collins is charged with first-degree murder and robbery for allegedly stealing Garcia's cell phone. Douglas County investigators say Garcia was involved in selling cocaine, and he exchanged multiple text messages with Collins to arrange a sale on the night he was murdered. Garcia died from a gunshot wound to the head, but the firearm has never been found. Collins' attorney says there are no fingerprints tying him to the crime. Jury selection starts this morning. The death of a Grant County inmate last week will be investigated by two outside agencies. 31-year-old Richard Lambert of Moses Lake was found deceased Tuesday morning in his bed at the Grant County Jail. Sheriff Joe Crete, whose office supervises the jail, announced on Thursday the circumstances of Lambert's death would be reviewed by the multi-agency Columbia Basin investigative team, and the Benton County Sheriff's Office will also conduct an administrative investigation into the policies of the Grant County Jail. Crete says both investigations are likely to be lengthy, and the outcomes of both will be shared with the public. The former charity operator ordered to pay $1.5 million to victims of sexual harassment is also in debt to his former attorneys. Thad Lawson and his nonprofit agency, Operation Veterans Assistance and Humanitarian Aid, Well, they were found liable in June for harassing or otherwise victimizing 12 women who worked at or visited the Veterans Warehouse thrift shop. Lawson and his wife, as well as their nonprofit, also owe more than $655,000 to the Washington Attorney General's office. They were the ones who prosecuted the case. And just before Christmas, the Lawsons were found in default after their former law firm, Seattle Litigation Group, sued them for more than $83,000 in unpaid fees. Court records show they did not file any response to the suit after they were served with papers. That was in September. A Chelan County Court Commissioner signed the order of default on December 18th. Chelan County Commissioners will hold a public hearing on January 14th to take comment on proposed updates to the short-term rental code. Earlier this year, county commissioners asked the Planning Commission to review certain portions of the short-term rental code. That was adopted back in July of 2021. A county press release said a November 13th Planning Commission public hearing drew attendance from 75 people online and another 40 in person. According to the Wenatchee World, the proposed changes, which can be found, by the way, on the county's website, include changes to the occupancy requirements, excluding children younger than 24 months from those requirements. The public hearing will begin at 1 o'clock on Tuesday the 14th at the Confluence Technology Center out in Olds Station. New estimates of Washington's language populations find that roughly 36% of Chelan County residents have limited proficiency in English. The trend holds true in Douglas County, where the estimate is roughly 37%. The State Office of Financial Management based those numbers on enrollment of students learning English as a second language, as well as the number of people who are accessing governmental services through an interpreter. Spanish is the primary non-English language spoken in both counties. The rate of limited English proficiency was even greater in Grant County. It was over 42% there. How does the city of Wenatchee get prepared when snow is in the forecast, and what happens when snow is on the ground? Well, we took our cameras and we took it out to the Wenatchee Public Works building, where administrators whose jobs involve getting snow out of the way talked about how they go about doing it.
I'm Aaron Kelly. I'm a Public Works Operations Manager here, so I oversee the streets, fleet, and the facilities.
Hello, my name's Andy Greer. I am the Street Maintenance Supervisor for the City of Wenatchee.
Here we have 19 of some of our fleet, which is about 19 vehicles to be able to deal with snow removal. Here's a couple of graders. We can kind of move on here and see a couple others.
So what you'll see here is a road grader. This one's actually a rental. We own 4, we rent 2 for winter operations. This is what you're going to see probably out in front, typically. It's roughly a 60,000 pound machine. It can move a lot of snow. So this is a anti-icing, de-icing truck setup, computer controlled, varying amounts per lane mile. You might see this, you'll see the stripes on traveled lanes, and that's what's putting it down.
For street maintenance, it's about 19 different vehicles. Now, that does include 2 snow blowers, which might not be deployed right away. This is for when we're removing the snow berms. And we have 2, one basically as a backup, as to be able to be ready if whether or not one breaks down. Some years are a lot more hours and some are a lot less. Typically a typical snowstorm, which is hard to be able to say what that is, but is between 6 to maybe 800 hours by the time that we get everything cleaned up. The one from earlier this week, I'd say it was probably between 300 to 400 hours, probably at the kind of the high end of it.
We take the approach of being proactive with a anti-icing treatment that we apply prior to a snow event. And that consists of a salt brine. So this is the salt that we're using. It's coated with a proprietary blend. This product is called Ice Kicker. You can take a peek at that. Gotcha. The claim to fame with this is that it is 50% less corrosive than your typical rock salt. And that's why we've chosen to use this off the qualified product list. It's a balancing act. That's why we decided to convert this granule product into a brine solution, which allows us to use less of it. We've got the capacity to hold 13,000 gallons of it at a time. When it's running great, those can be filled in about 20 minutes. So right here we've got a wheel loader, and it's got a front mounted snow blower. This would be utilized after the storm has passed and the center berm removal down in the central business district that we've all seen. As you can see, it's quite the blower. Moving on, this is a 1.5 ton truck that you might see running around. And this might be used for alleys, cul-de-sacs. Some of the steeper stuff it works good in, the narrow stuff. So this particular truck, this tanker truck here, actually has dual purpose. In the summertime, it's our water truck, and in the wintertime, it's another de-ice truck. This is another 10-yard dump truck that's got a front blade on it and another poly tank in the back. This one applies the de-icer as well. So this is a 5-yard truck, single axle with a frame-mounted sander and with a plow in the front. This is what you're going to see behind one of the road graders. January of 22, where we received the 24 inches in 24 hours, that was quite challenging. The other one that I could think of was probably back in the early 2000s. We had a freezing rain event, a little bit of an ice storm, and that was quite dangerous. The first priority is classified streets that are arterial collectors. All of Wenatchee Avenue, SR 285, Mission Chelan, Western, all the ups and downs such as Cherry, Castle Rock, Washington, Orchard, those are all priority 1 streets. After that, priority 1 streets are cleared. Crews will move to priority 2, which is going to be your residential streets, alleys, cul-de-sacs, etc.
Right off the bat, at first is just to be patient, plan some extra time in your commute. I mean, I think we've all probably kind of heard those things. Stopping distances have got to be greater. At the same time, I think we would want to ask the public just to be able to be patient. Usually right after a snowstorm, we're out there, but we can't necessarily hit all 275 lane miles in the city instantly. So it's going to take some time.
And finally, on this Monday, Link Transit is rolling out earlier trips and changes to service this month, and it begins today. Beginning today, weekday changes will include an added Route 2 East Wenatchee to Walmart. That's a 6 a.m. trip, so that's a new one. With the added early morning Route 9 trip to South Wenatchee and Route 11 East Wenatchee trips will be earlier. Some weekday Route 22 Wenatchee to Leavenworth trips will shift to later times by about 5 to 10 minutes. Several trips from Wenatchee to Chelan, Leavenworth, and Cashmere have been added to Link's weekend service. For more information on the updates, the new schedule books, they're already available. And of course, Link's online schedules updated this morning. So if you're a regular Link user, go to their website and see if anything has happened to your route to get from point A to point B. That's the news on this Monday, and we'll have a newscast for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. The NCWLIFE Evening News, 5, 6, and 10, right here on this TV station. But if that doesn't fit into your schedule, you want to watch the news from beginning to end, and you want to do it when you're ready, don't worry. Starting at 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday, the news will be up and running on our homepage, ncwlife.com, and our Facebook page, and on our YouTube page. And if something out there you think is newsworthy, you send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. news@ncwlife.com. Sports, a bunch of it, is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Central Washington Water is your solution for problem water. Whether you're on a well or municipal water, they can design a clean water system custom to you. Soft water eliminates water spots and scaling on fixtures. It protects appliances from hard water damage, saving you money. Soft water reduces soap usage that causes skin irritation and is a healthier choice to drink. Call for a free in-home consultation or stop by the store to have your water tested. Central Washington Water, your best water solution for home, pool, and spa.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Do you hate getting called by Medicare telemarketers? Well, this October, your phone is going to be ringing off the hook because we will be experiencing a huge Medicare change. Now, for the last 20 years, Springwater Insurance has been helping those of you on Medicare. So just say no to those telemarketers by not answering their ads. Instead, call a local agent like Springwater Insurance who's been helping for 20 years. So give us a call at Springwater. We can meet at one of our 5 offices or give us a call.
Who's trying to stretch their budget this January? That's pretty much all of us. That's why Abby's is offering this giant pizza that can feed up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 hungry people for less than $27. Now, that's an Abby's budget stretching deal. Worried about a no-fun January? Not at Abby's. Dine on our Bacon Cheddar Special. It's delicious and loaded with toppings and real cheese. Plus, it's on sale, and the kids can play some video games. Enjoy fun January at your local Abby's.
Sports. Well, the Seattle Seahawks closed out their campaign as the only NFL team with 10 victories, but no playoff bid. They beat the Rams in Inglewood 30-25 yesterday afternoon. Geno Smith passed for 223 yards, threw his career-best 4th touchdown pass to Noah Fant with 3:19 to play. That was the game winner. For the Hawks, it was their 12th winning season in the last 13 seasons. First-year head coach Mike Macdonald says it's nice to finish the season on a winning note.
Look, I mean, we talked about throughout the week that our goals changed, coming out of the weekend, and I thought our guys did a tremendous job of staying focused on what our new goal was, finishing the year the right way, and it was a great team win. I mean, it wasn't necessarily pretty, but I'll tell you what, like we fought through some injuries and some guys that we didn't necessarily plan on playing a big role. I mean, we can rattle those guys off, but guys stepping in and playing good football for us and ultimately winning the game. Guys like Artie Burns and Kenny McIntosh, Mike Jarrell at right tackle. I mean, there's a lot of guys in there that stepped up and did a great job for us. So it's great for us to close the season out the right way.
Julian Love, Geno Smith, and Tyler Lockett, who may have played his last game for the Seahawks, also addressed the media following the game.
It's important. We're trying to build a foundation. To get to 10 wins, 4-2 in the division is a good thing. And so, we were trying to find that motivation, to try to go out there and attack. And it's a division game, and so we're just trying to set the tone going into the offseason.
Yeah, I think winning was always going to be the most important thing. Anytime, anytime you don't have a chance to really control your destiny, it's always going to suck. But for us as a team, we wanted to close out on the right note and finish the right way. And I'm a guy with a lot of integrity, man. I love this game. I love my teammates. I love the organization, and I just feel like that's what leaders do, man. You got to go out there and you got to give it your all, no matter the circumstance, no matter what the record says, no matter the situation. So, for me, it was another opportunity to go out there with my teammates and grind out a win.
Obviously, you never know when it's going to be the end. Because I kind of plan on playing again, I know it's not the very, very end. It'd be different if I was retiring. But, I think it's, always going to be somewhat sensitive just because that could have been the last time you put on a jersey. So I'm glad I ended with a catch, just in case. Glad we ended up with a win. And, one of the cool things was, like, in the beginning of my career, it started off versus the Rams. And maybe the last game of my Seahawks career, possibly, it ended versus the Rams, and we was able to win that game.
The Seahawks, by the way, finished the season with a 7-1 road record. That ties for the franchise record that was set back in 2019. So for the record, the final standings for the NFC West this year, again, the Rams and the Seahawks, although they had identical records, the Rams get the tiebreaker. They move on to the playoffs as the champions of the NFC West. And look at San Francisco. Last year, they played in the Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but they played in it. And this year, dead last in the NFC West. Didn't see that much. All right, we're good to go. The playoffs are set. Of course, the two byes, Kansas City in the AFC and the Detroit Lions in the NFC, they get next weekend off. Good for them. The other teams got to play. The playoffs get underway in Houston on Saturday morning at 1:30, on Saturday afternoon at 1:30. That'll be on CBS, Chargers at Houston. And that'll be followed by the Steelers and the Ravens on Prime, Amazon Prime. Only way you can watch it at 5 o'clock on Saturday night. Then the triple-header on Sunday. The Broncos and the Bills have the morning game, 10 a.m. on CBS. That'll be followed by the Packers at the Eagles. That'll be at 1:30 on Fox. And then the nightcap on Sunday, it's the Commanders and Tampa Bay in Buccaneerland, 5 o'clock on NBC. Then they wrap up the weekend with Monday Night Football as the Rams play host to the Vikings at 5 o'clock on both ABC and ESPN. Well, the Edmonton Oilers scored twice in the first 5.5 minutes, and they held off the Kraken 4-2 on Saturday night at Climate Pledge Arena. Chandler Stevenson and Jaden Schwartz scored for Seattle. Philip Grubauer made 28 saves. The Kraken wrap up their 4-game homestand tonight against the New Jersey Devils, who have lost their last 4 games. Men's college basketball over the weekend. On Saturday, Eastern got by Montana State. Washington State took care of the Dons of San Francisco. Number 19 Gonzaga, no problems with Loyola Marymount. Yesterday in Seattle, the Huskies gave the 22nd ranked Illinois Fighting Illini all they could handle, but in the end, Illinois knocked off Washington yesterday afternoon. The final there was 81-77. Women's college basketball from over the weekend looks something like this. The Cougars got by Oregon State 66-52. Montana State got by Eastern Washington. Gonzaga rolled over Santa Clara. And Haley Van Lith didn't score a lot of points, didn't have a lot of assists, didn't really need it. TCU never really challenged against Cincinnati. Number 11 Horned Frogs over Cincinnati 81-66. All right, that's college. Now prep. All kinds of games, all kinds of teams had either conference games or they were hosting or traveling to holiday tournaments. Look at all the scores from Friday. Juanita beats Wenatchee. Post Falls victorious over Eastmont. Alfredo over Othello. Ellensburg got by Quincy. It was Kashmir over Cascade in that old Caribou Trail League rival. Amari-Cooley Heartline over Liberty Bell. Waterville Mansfield boys over Curlew. Bridgeport beat Aniat. Okanagan over Brewster. Oroville beat Republic. That was boys scores from Friday. Girls scores from Friday. In case you missed it, look at all those games. Your winners: Lewis and Clark over Moses Lake. Newport beat Wenatchee. Eastmont over Post Falls. Othello over Ellensburg. It was Othello over Ephrata. Ellensburg beat Quincy 75-14. That's not a misprint. Cascade lost to Kashmir 54-17. Amari-Cooley Heartline got by Liberty Bell. It was Bridgeport over Aniat. Brewster over Okanagan. And Waterville Mansfield knocked off Curlew in girls basketball on Friday night. Pateros over Orcas Island. That game was at Mountain View Christian. And Republic over Oroville 52-22. That was Friday. Now we move on to Saturday. In prep boys basketball, Eastmont beat Juanita 74-52. It was a good weekend for the Eastmont boys. Keona Benton beat Wenatchee 74-54. Ellensburg over Ephrata. East Valley beat Quincy in an offensive blowout. Look at that, 89-86. Everybody was scoring in that one. Kashmir over Wapato on Saturday in boys basketball 74-67. Okanagan over Omak. Tonasket beat Mabton by just a point. Lake Roosevelt over White Swan. Davenport over Waterville Mansfield. Brewster beats Cle Elum. Manson over Wilbur Creston Keller. Soap Lake over Nespelem. And Aniat beat Moses Lake. That's prep boys on Saturday. Prep girls on Saturday. Yeah, told you there were a lot of games going on. Eastmont beat Newport 41-28. I think the Eastmont girls have won, I think, like 5 or 6 in a row now. Keona Benton knocked off the Wenatchee girls 41-32. Ellensburg crushed Ephrata 74-14. East Valley and Quincy was a little closer than that, but East Valley got the better hand there. Kashmir over Wapato 65-48. Omak over Okanagan 65-52 in girls basketball on Saturday night. Lake Roosevelt beats White Swan. Brewster over Cle Elum 55-46. Wilbur Creston Keller over Manson. Pateros beat Lummi Nation. Wilson Creek over Aniat. Davenport 54. Waterville Mansfield and 19. And then finally 39, I should say. Soap Lake beat Nespelem 65-19. I think I need another cup of coffee. And finally, the Wenatchee Wild bounced back from being shut out 3-0 Friday night in Vancouver with 2 big wins at Portland Saturday and in Kennewick last night. 3 Wenatchee's 6 goals against Portland came via a power play in their 6-3 win on Saturday. Yesterday, the Wild scored 10 goals for the first time as a member of the WHL. A 10-2 rout over the Americans. Evan Friesen tallied what they call a Texas hat trick. That's 4 goals in a game, and the Wild were never really in danger last night.
Americans' 5th-ranked penalty kill in the league at 81.2. Wenatchee centers, and the shot never got through. Second one does, and Friesen finds the back of the goal just 10 seconds into the power play. Garland fighting, Rios able to work it ahead. Look out, here's Evan Friesen, he scores. Wenatchee snatches the momentum right back. It's 5-1. Here's Friesen, 2 goals on the night already. Down the right wing, Friesen to the circle. Now goes in behind the goal, wraps it home and scores. A hat trick for Evan Friesen. 13:52 to go in the second, and it's a 6-1 Wenatchee lead. Friesen and Rios jamming. Puck comes free. Rios to the blue line for Reed Andreessen. He skates in. Long shot tipped off the post, and they score on the rebound. It's a 4-goal game for Evan Friesen, who was wide open in front of the net with nobody in sight, as Wenatchee makes it 7-1.
The Wild have won 6 of their last 8 games. They return home to face the Victoria Royals on Friday. It's Grandparents' Night, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. The opening puck will drop at the Town Toyota Center at 7 o'clock. Austin Drade will be here tomorrow to talk Wild hockey on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At the top of the hour, we have 7 obscure holidays you can celebrate. You can celebrate all of them or none of them, or selected obscure holidays. It's National Cuddle Day today. It's National Technology Day. It's National Shortbread Day, because Mama's little baby likes shortening. It's Thank God It's Monday Day. The idea there is to change your attitude about Mondays. If you don't like Mondays, change your attitude and embrace Mondays for what they are. It is Weigh-In Day. National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day. We're going to do that in the office foyer today. It's time to take down the Christmas tree. Holidays are over. But no, today, beans, the wonderful fruit. The more you eat, the more you. It's National Bean Day today. Celebrate one of the oldest crops ever cultivated. That's a lot of beans here right there, and why not? There are over 40,000 different bean varieties in the world. Why do we celebrate National Bean Day? On January 6th is the day that Gregory Mendel died. Back in 1884, who was Gregory Mendel? He was a scientist who bred pea plants and bean plants and experimented by putting them both together, and basically came up with the idea of modern plant genetics, putting 2 plants together, you know, in a quiet room with some jazz music and some wine, and sees what happens. So we got lots of good facts about beans here. Of course, beans have been part of the human diet for thousands of years. They last a long time, and they're good for you. Beans are actually one of the earliest food crops that historians can go back to. By statute, bean soup is required to be on the menu of the United States Senate cafeteria every day. It is not very good. The top bean-producing states in this country: number 1, North Dakota; number 2, Michigan; number 3, Nebraska. In fact, North Dakota accounts for 32% of all the bean production in this country. And boy, do the Englishmen love their baked beans. 40 tons of baked beans are eaten in Great Britain every hour. The average American only eats about 1/4 of the beans that the average Briton does. So beans are a staple of the diet of the people in Great Britain. Not so much here, but still, beans. They go in my chili. I love beans, but they don't love me. We won't get into that. All right, today in history, we're going to go all the way back to 1681. January 6, 1681, that would make 344 years ago today. The very first recorded boxing match takes place in England. Christopher Monk, who is the second Duke of Albemarle, engineered a bare-knuckle bout, brought all of his friends over, and the bare-knuckle bout was between his butler and his butcher. Now, who would you think win that one? The butler, who stands around in a tuxedo and brings him stuff, or the butcher, who chops meat and works hard and has muscles? Needless to say, the butcher won. Now, early boxing, this is 1681 we're talking about, early boxing had no rules at all. There were no weight divisions, there were no round limits, there were no referees. Basically, 2 guys just beat each other up until one guy was either unconscious or didn't want to do it anymore. Headbutting, legal. Punching, legal. Remember, there's no gloves. You could eye gouge, you could choke, you could kick, You could pick them up and throw them down. There were basically no rules at all, which is probably why I'm not a big fan of boxing. But the first recorded boxing match took place on this date back in 1681. Time to play Guess That Flag, and this is one of my favorites. That's a good-looking flag. They put some thought into that. Happy birthday to the 47th state, the land of enchantment. Happy birthday to New Mexico. Joined the Union on this date in 1912 as the 47th state that makes New Mexico 113 years old. Fun facts about New Mexico. At 7,199 feet above sea level, Santa Fe is the highest state capital in the Union. That's up there a ways. That's almost 2 miles in elevation. Almost 75% of all the roads in New Mexico are unpaved. New Mexico has more cows than people, something that New Mexicans are very proud of. They don't pay their lawmakers. The members of the House and the members of the state Senate in New Mexico aren't paid. They do receive per diem compensation, so they get their expenses taken care of when the legislature is in session. It averages about $16,000 a year per lawmaker, which is a pretty good deal. They're very proud of that in New Mexico. New Mexico has more PhDs per capita than any other state. And New Mexico, the state constitution of New Mexico, specifically bars idiots from voting. How one gets defined as an idiot, it doesn't say. Happy 113th birthday to New Mexico. One of the most famous speeches of the 20th century delivered to the United States Congress by FDR, President Franklin D. Roosevelt, in his State of the Union address, January 6th, 1941, 84 years ago today. Of course, the war is raging in Europe. We're not in it yet. His famous 4 Freedoms speech. And in case you forgot what those are, here's what they were.
The first is freedom of speech and expression everywhere in the world. The second is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way everywhere in the world. The third is freedom from want, which translated into world terms means economic understandings which will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, which translated into world terms means a worldwide reduction of armaments to such a point and in such a thorough fashion that no nation will be in a position to commit an act of physical aggression against any neighbor anywhere in the world.
Like all modern presidents, FDR had a speech-writing staff, but that speech, his famous 4 Freedoms speech in the State of the Union address on this day, 1941, FDR wrote the whole thing himself. 51 years ago, we had the oil crisis. We lowered the speed limit to 55 miles an hour to save on gasoline. And then we decided on this date in 1974, 51 years ago today, that we would do daylight saving time starting now. January 6, 1974, daylight saving time commences 4 months early in the United States. So we had year-round daylight saving time was in effect from January 6th, 1974 to October 27th, 1975, with the exception of October 27th, 1974 and February 23rd, 1975, when we went back to standard time. And then we just need to get rid of the whole idea of changing the clock. Pick one. I don't care which one it is. We either do daylight saving time year-round or we do just standard time year-round, but enough of this nonsense. And finally, January 6th, 2021, 4 years ago today, and that's the headline from the New York Times, and we will move forward with birthdays. One heavenly birthday, the man who founded the great rock and roll group Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett. Born in the state in 1946, he was the one who put the band together, got them their early gigs, was their principal songwriter, and then he took one too many acid trips and never came back. He died in 2006 at the age of 60. Pink Floyd recorded numerous tributes to Syd Barrett. The song Shine On You Crazy Diamond from the album Wish You Were Here is all about Syd Barrett. And of course the 1979 rock opera The Wall has numerous Syd Barrett references. Syd Barrett, the founder of Pink Floyd, born in the state in 1946. Kate McKinnon, I miss her on Saturday Night Live. I don't know what she's doing now. She's still working? I kind of lost track of her. She was great on Saturday Night Live. She was there for 11 seasons, and she's only 41 years old today. Happy birthday, Kate. She does great impersonations. And Caroline. There you go. Hi, Caroline. Hi, sweetie. That's my great niece, by the way. Caroline, she's 8 years old today and precocious as all get out. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They're launching for the new year Cash for Clunkers. If your HVAC system is old and inefficient and you want to get a new one, Alpine Air might have a good deal for you, up to $2,000 in rebates. Stuff like that if you decide maybe it is time to get something a little better for my house than what I got now. Give Alpine Air a call, ask about their Cash for Clunkers program. Alpine Air, our platinum sponsor. Still to come, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Mignotti, and then Eric Grandstrom's review of 2024, the year in sports, and I'll preview our big programming thing for tomorrow, Apple Blossom Top 10 Royalty. It's that time of the year again. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel. Braden, in our last episode, we talked about getting into the 401k for the first time, and you check the box, 1 conservative, 9 aggressive, 5 down the middle. Let's talk about not just 401k, but just in an overall standpoint, a slow investment is good for whom exactly?
Right, and there's nothing wrong with a slow investment. It just depends on the person, right, personally. And when I look at like a slow investment, I look at a bucket where you're funding money into a bucket and there's nothing else that needs done. So think of it as being on autopilot. Hey, I'm not going to touch it. I don't do anything with it. I don't have to think about it. There's no levers to pull. There's no movement that has to happen.
And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want.
And that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to grow money a little bit faster and a little bit more efficiently, just know that when you put your money into some of these certain buckets that are available and that are offered and that are majorly pushed, that's the slowest possible way that you can grow real wealth. Slowest possible way to actually grow financial freedom. The slowest possible way to grow net worth and cash flow. Everything else that aligns, with maybe what you want. You just don't know how to get it. You don't know how it works. And so I would say when you put the money in those buckets and you don't think about it, you're putting it in there for someday, maybe, down the road, for someday in the future, if you don't die early, at a potentially higher tax rate than when you pull that money out. And I'd say think about all those things. If that aligns with how you want to grow wealth, absolutely, I would say continue on. But if not, let's look at other options and let's help those people accomplish their goals.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it or we'll replace it. No questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection. But at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires because more warranty means less worry. And nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So when the state government wants to change the rules about unspent used gift cards, did you hear about that? They want the companies who have been now keeping the money on unused gift cards to surrender that money to the state as unclaimed property. Well, I do think some changes need to be made to ensure you and I are compensated or advised that we have an outstanding credit on a gift card. But I don't see any reason for the government to get the excess. How many of our pockets do the politicians want to stick their hands in? Sheesh. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Medicare annual election period is here, and the rumors are true. Health Alliance and Assurance Northwest Medicare Advantage plans are not available beginning January 1st, 2025. Now, there are 2 new Medicare Advantage plans that will be replacing them. But to quickly answer many of your questions, go to our website and click on Plan Termination. You can also come to one of our sales and education meetings. You don't have to be a current client. We'll be providing everyone a folder with step-by-step instructions on finding a new plan for next year.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Come on up to the Winter Wonderland at Tipsy Canyon Winery. Thursdays feature live music, bonfires, spectacular lights, cozy vibes, and that now famous view. Add award-winning wines, and you've got it all right here. You've arrived in Tipsy Canyon country.
You're invited to celebrate Winterfest at Lake Chelan. Enjoy sparkling lights, local wine tasting, and fun for all ages. It's a great time to start a new holiday tradition at Washington's Winter Wonderland. More information at lakechelan.com.
Well, as 2024 comes to an end, we're looking back on the top 10 sports stories of the year. We'll start with number 10. After years of waiting, the softball complex finally celebrated, or the softball community celebrated the groundbreaking of a $4 million softball facility at Triangle Park for Wenatchee High School. The slow pitch team was the first to play on it in October. Number 9, Scott Devereaux and Michael Don had been headed up the football programs at Wenatchee and Eastmont for a combined 31 years. They both stepped down, and that meant it would be somebody else in the helm, and that would be assistants. With both programs taking over as Jay Foster took over the Wildcat program and Taylor Mitchell would head up the Wenatchee program last season. It was a tumultuous 12 months for the Wenatchee Wild following the purchase of the Winnipeg franchise, moving it to Wenatchee in 2023, joining the WHL. Kevin Constantine was hired as head coach barely a month into his season. Constantine suspended by the league for conduct detrimental. Chris Clark served as interim coach for the rest of the season. In July, Don Knockbauer was hired to return to the WHL, where he had amassed the third most wins in league history. 7th top story of the year, staying on the ice following a disappointing season for the Seattle Kraken. The team's first ever manager switched to make that since the club's expansion season was fired. Dave Hackstall had led the Kraken to a playoff trip in their second
second season, but had lost the message to his team in his third campaign. He would be replaced by Dan Bilesma. The team, by the way, still continues to struggle. Our sixth top story, well, this will hint to one of our top 5 stories of the year. University of Washington announced that Arizona's Jed Fish would replace Kalen DeBoer as head coach of the Husky football program. The Wenatchee Apple Sox made a summer run to reach the title game of the West Coast League Championship, holding a 1-run lead in Portland in the bottom of the 9th, only to see the Pickles score twice for the walk-off win. Apple Sox hope for good things again in 2025. Cashmere's Haley Van Lith and Team USA took home the bronze medal at the Summer Olympics in Paris in 3x3 basketball. Haley joined me just a few days after winning the bronze to share her experience.
3-on-3 is a new sport, so not a lot of people know how it works and what it's about. And a lot of my teammates were new to it too, like you said. And so I think, you know, going into the next Olympics, we might approach it a little differently, but we definitely were behind on time together and team chemistry. But we were able to bring a medal home, and we persevered and we showed toughness the entire time, no matter the situation with the refs, no matter the weather, whatever was going on. At the end, we pulled out wins, and so I couldn't be more proud of us.
Haley, the 5th top story of 2024. Following an intensive 3-week interview process, the Seattle Seahawks hired Mike Macdonald as its new head coach on February 1st in 2024. Macdonald had served as Baltimore's defensive coordinator for 2 seasons, working under both Jim and John Harbaugh in his career. In the process of hiring the 36-year-old, Seattle went from having the oldest coach in the NFL to one of the youngest. Number 3, after 9 seasons as manager of the Seattle Mariners and guiding the team to its first playoff appearance in 20 years, Scott Service was fired on August 22nd. The move came following a 1-8 road trip in which Seattle lost its 10-game lead in the American League West. Service was replaced by former Mariner catcher Dan Wilson. Our second top sports story of the year, well, it kicked off with shockwaves throughout the sports world in Seattle. The second big kick in the guts came on January 12th when we learned Kalen DeBoer, after just 2 seasons coaching at the University of Washington and leading the Huskies to the national championship game, would be leaving to coach Alabama following the retirement of Nick Saban. So that takes us to number 1. Well, it was a shock for us all. Just 2 days before Kalen DeBoer announced he was leaving for Alabama, the Seattle Seahawks announced it was parting ways with Pete Carroll after 14 seasons as head coach.
Following our season-ending meetings with ownership in the planning sessions, it's clear that, and for a variety of reasons, we have mutually agreed to set a new course and for the club to take on new leadership. And that's just a decision that's been made, and there's a lot that went into that and a lot that went behind that. And for all my guys, I think you know how much I probably competed for our perspective and our standpoint. And I'm so sorry. I'm so heartfully sorry for the families. Y'all don't realize how deep this runs. You know, it's just going next coach, next staff, what's going to happen, what's the future and all that. There's people in this thing. And it breaks my heart that so many people get shocked and adjusted and surprised and all of that, and the children, and we have so many kids in this organization that we love so much and we celebrate whenever we get our chance. It breaks my heart that you know we're dealing with that, but that is what happens, and that's part of this business and part of a lot of businesses. It's not unique just to us.
Under Carroll, Seattle was 137-89 of the regular season, 19-10 in the playoffs, and won the Seahawks' only Super Bowl championship in 2013.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese blintz, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
So what am I looking at here?
That is what great power looks like.
Tell me more.
It's called hydropower. Hydropower uses water and gravity to generate electricity. Since the fuel for hydropower is water, it has zero emissions and it's renewable. It also works when it's not sunny or windy. And it's the cheapest power we can make.
So it's clean, renewable, reliable, and affordable? And hydropower is all 4?
Only hydropower is all 4. And you can learn more about it at the Chelan PUD Discovery Center at Rocky Reach Dam.
Whether you're building from the ground up or transforming your space with a custom remodel, One Way Construction is your trusted partner in creating a home that's uniquely yours. Your dream home is just a call away. Schedule your free consultation, and let's build something amazing together.
A small-town holiday wouldn't be complete without a visit to an original American hardware store in downtown Chelan. Kelly's Ace Hardware has been serving the greater Chelan area for nearly 100 years. Let them take you back to a time where personal service and quality products went hand in hand.
You're invited to celebrate Winterfest at Lake Chelan. Enjoy sparkling lights, local wine tasting, and fun for all ages. It's a great time to start a new holiday tradition at Washington's Winter Wonderland. More information at lakechelan.com.
All right, a programming reminder, a little shop talk before we send you on your way on this Monday. And every year it sneaks up on me, and every year I'm still surprised that it snuck up on me. I'm talking about the Apple Blossom Top 10 Royal Court candidates, and that process has already begun, and it really gets going tomorrow. It's 3 elements. First of all, they don't have the student bodies of the individual school districts, the Wenatchee and Eastmont school districts. They don't vote on their 5 candidates to represent their school districts. The student body doesn't do that anymore. They bring in professional out-of-town judges. They've been doing that for the last few years. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., not open to the public. The senior girls who are vying to make the final top 10 will have one-on-one interviews with the 5 out-of-town judges. That is 50% of their score. Again, that's at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and that is not open to the public. And then open to the public at the Numerica Performing Arts Center tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can go to the Numerica Performing Arts Center and watch the 30 or so candidates give their speeches. They're about 2 to 3 minutes in length. Again, with the same 5 out-of-town judges that they interviewed on Tuesday morning. We'll also be doing the judging on Tuesday afternoon. Those top 10 speeches will be streamed on our Facebook page, all right? So if you're at work, you can't make it down to the Numerica Performing Arts Center to watch it in person. And by the way, of course, it's free. You can watch it on our Facebook stream tomorrow beginning at 1 o'clock. There are about 30 candidates, and each of them get about 3 minutes to do their speeches, and that is 50% of their score. So 50% of their score is the individual one-on-one interviews with the judges tomorrow morning at 10. That's the event that's not open to the public. And then the other 50% is the judging of the top 10 speeches, which is tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, both streaming on our Facebook page and on our television station right here that you're watching, the announcement of the top 10 candidates who will vie for the Queen and the 2 princesses. That will be at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So our evening news tomorrow will be preempted by half an hour. We'll have the top 10 announcement at 6 o'clock tomorrow on television and on Facebook, and then the evening news with Grant and Eric will air at 6:30 on tomorrow. And then finally, of course, the Royalty Selection Pageant at the Numerica Performing Arts Center will be on Saturday, February 8th. And as usual, our cameras will be there. Eric will be there. Julie will be there for the actual announcement of the Queen and her royal court. It is that time of the year again. All right, to the forecast we go. And I mentioned this at the top of the show. Foggy and cloudy out there in the basin. That should be burning off, but the farther east you go, you're going to be dealing with some pretty poor driving conditions. It's already starting to burn off a little bit, but between Ritzville and Spokane, pea soup fog, watch out for that. As far as cloud cover is concerned, we're going to see quite a bit of sunshine today in the Wenatchee Valley. In the valley. Out in the Columbia Basin, you're not going to see so much. Again, the higher the percentage that you see there, the more cloud cover that you will be under. So we have a good chance of seeing quite a bit of sunshine today in the Wenatchee Valley, kind of what we did yesterday on Sunday, only maybe a little bit more, and certainly warmer. From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. Sunshine for the most part. It's already starting to get the job done. We'll top off in the lower 40s. Fog and cloud roll in. 26 for the overnight low tonight. No sunshine tomorrow. Going to be pretty cloudy most of the day. We'll be in the 30s, and then sunshine back again on Wednesday and Thursday. Kind of a mixture, kind of 50% clouds, 50% sun with some morning fog on Wednesday and Thursday. Highs in the upper 30s, and then we'll be in the 40s. Mid-40s perhaps even, certainly in the lower 40s by the time we get to the weekend. All right, everybody, have a great Monday. Start your day off tomorrow with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Until then, bye-bye.